Welcome back to the railroad, everyone. Today's video is all about sounds, scary sounds, for our new haunted Halloween town. Well, in today's video, we're going to take this small Adafruit board, which has the ability to store 16 megabytes of sound tracks. We'll do them mostly on a wave sound track. And I can also have up to 11 triggers on this thing. So I have to do some soldering to get that ready to go. To power this whole thing, we will be using our 12 to 14 volt solar charged battery system, car battery. And to bring it down to the correct voltage for this, which I'll have to double check, I think it's 5 volts, we use this little voltage regulator. And we'll have to solder this up. And then to control the volume, we have a volume control board, an amplifier. We'll be hooking that up. We will put everything in small boxes so that it's kept out of the weather, because this will be for our outside railroad. And let's get busy. So first, let's take a look at our Adafruit board. So this is our Adafruit board. I'll try to get a close-up so I can show you just how it's laid out as we talk. So the first thing to notice on your Adafruit board is that here is your ground for the speakers, and then your left and right channel. Next, we move on to the power. Power is your GND, or your ground, your negative, and VIN is your positive. And as I recall, this is a 3 to 5 volt system. Next, you look down here at the bottom, you'll see ground at the right side. That's the ground you use for your triggers. And you can trigger 11 different sounds from 0 all the way over here to 10. So that equals 11 sound triggers. So here's our little Adafruit board. We are ready to solder, and the pins have all been put through. I put tape under it, or over it, and then I flipped it over so that all the pins stay in the proper place and they're ready to be soldered. Let's get this done. Okay, well, we have our soundboard wired in. This is the Adafruit soundboard. Here, the black wire is your ground, the green and the white are your right and left speakers. So ground to both white and green. Here, your red and green are your positive and negative. So green is negative, red is positive, for your power, which should be 3 to 5 volts DC. Then we have our triggers. The black wire is our ground. We have a red, white, and then a white, yellow, purple, green, which will be triggers. And they are 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 9 and 10. Those will be our trigger units. So when we put in the music or sounds, whatever we use, they'll all be off these 6 triggers. Okay, let's get on with this. So to make the trigger board, I've taken a piece of 1/4 inch plywood, normally called Luan, and cut 6 holes in it. We're going to have 6 triggers on this one. You'll notice that I drilled round holes to begin with, and then I used my chisel and hammer to square out all the holes so they fit the switches. Now, with all 6 holes cut square, we start inserting our 6 switches. With the 6 switches installed, I run a single ground wire through all of one side of each switch and solder them in place. I'm using pieces from my parts drawer, so here are 2 plugs that will work for our connections for the other side of each switch. Then we attach the matching plugs to our Adafruit soundboard, and we're ready to test some signals as soon as we get voltage to the 2 appliances, which are the Adafruit soundboard and the Dork amplifier, both requiring 5 volts DC. So, looking at our diagram for all of these devices, you'll see that from the power, which this is going to be the power supply, you'll have 5 volts going into the amplifier, and this says 5 volts DC here. So we can screw those in, which is nice. And then here are your left and right speakers. Right positive negative, left positive negative. And our speakers that we're going to attempt to use on this have positive and negative wires already wired in. So those will screw into there. Then we also have power here. This is our power, positive and negative, green. And this also says on the back here, 3 to 5 volts DC power. So we're going to set the meter. We're going to bring this meter up to 5 volts. Okay, back to our, it's called a DORK, D-O-R-K. Back to our DORK amplifier, and it does have an on-off switch. But the power rating for this is 5 volts DC. And to get your input, you have to go into a stereo plug, a 3.5 millimeter plug. And in remembering how these things are wired, I was lucky to find an old one that had bad headphones, so got rid of those. Wiring on this, the inside plug is ground, the middle is your right, and the outside is your left. And those basically get hooked right onto here, because coming from this, the speaker goes down to here. Coming from here on your Adafruit board, your sounds come out and go into the amplifier, from the amplifier to the speakers. And everything's powered with this little amp. So let's get on and finish wiring this now. Okay, so we're going to turn this down until we get down to 5 volts. There's 12, 10, 8, 7, 6, 5.3, 5.1, 5.0. 5.0. We'll go with that. Okay, we have a temporary setup. This is my battery for testing. It'll simulate the battery out on the solar system set. Get all my items away from the main pieces. So we plug a battery in. This is delivering 5 volts to both the DORK amplifier and the Adafruit soundboard. And the only one working right now is a test system that they put in all of the Adafruit boards. It just says left, right. So let's see if we can hear it.
Left, right. Left, right. Left, right.
Okay, so that appears to be working. There is a volume control. That's all the way up on the volume, which we'll see how it works. Okay, and we do have both speakers. We have the voltage, amplifier, soundboard. Now we just have to program some sounds for this. Let's get busy. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Let's go run some trains.
Otherwise, I could sit and watch the
So join us next week when we download, edit, and mix some good sounds for our haunted Halloween town. And if you can think of some good sounds you think we should have in our haunted town, please put them in the comments below. I'd love to see what we can find. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that. If you did, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Be safe, stay healthy. We'll see you down the rails, and God bless.